Alrighty, this is another episode, another interview. Looking forward to it. This is just a warning before we get started. There's no filter on this one. This is pretty raw, right to the heart. Sean tells stories basically from his entire life, and it's awesome. You'll enjoy it. It's hilarious. He's just a really funny guy, and he's so interesting to listen to. But this is one of the very few episodes that are not PG. We do not have a filter on this. We did it without editing. So also there's no cameras for this one. We recorded this a while back, but for interview with Apex Sound next week, there will be cameras for that one. So hope you enjoy, and yeah.
Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Go Get That podcast. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. This interview speaks for itself. He had us rolling over laughing with some of his stories that he told. Sean Van Anglen is a professional golfer. Not only is he a professional golfer, but this is just to list him. He's acquaintances with Tiger Woods. He's a member of TPC Boston. He played in a professional PGA Tour Pro-Am and beat his pro while playing. This is just foreshadowing all the stories he's got. And it's just,
he's got a lot.
He's got a lot. This is as Dan just said before we started recording, this is the perfect podcast. It's not going anywhere. It's not times. This is the perfect podcast to save for an hour and a half car ride. Because it's entertaining. And it's not, I know one's a little bit different. It's a lot more raw, straight from again, Sean speaks his mind. We knew that when we got him on. So yeah,
he's a really cool dude. It was my first time meeting him.
Yeah.
He's super passionate. He's just himself, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and I like how even though obviously there's some stuff we cannot air, I love how he doesn't change. I love how he doesn't conform himself. Yeah, I love how he just he gave us an hour and a half of himself, and we appreciate that. We really
that's all we can ask for.
So you guys are going to enjoy this one. Sean Van Anglen. Here we go. All righty. Welcome to another episode of the Go Get That podcast. And this is an interview. This was one of our first interviews we actually planned. One of the most interesting people I know. And he's just got an incredible amount of stories to tell. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. We have Sean Van Anglen right here.
Van Anglen.
Oh, is it Anglen? I did not know that. That's the first time I know this. It was Sean Van Anglen. He's got a whole bunch of stories to tell. So he has one he wanted to lead off with. So I'll let him start with that. But yeah, Sean.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. And for those that don't know, if you're familiar with Bob Menery and all that through Instagram, Bob and I had been friends for a long, long time. And he started his whole network thing, if you will. And he had this sidekick, Peter. So for years and years, I was always Peter. We never did a reveal or anything. We kept talking about it. So a couple of years ago, we were at the Honda Classic in Florida, and he texted me. He's like, "Dude, let's go out to the Honda Classic." And we were talking about how we wanted to do the rollout of Peter because people kept asking. So he said, "Screw it. Let's just do it during the Pro-Am of the Honda Classic, which he was playing in and I was participating in as well." So
wait. So I know you had a Twitter account that was Peter. Is that where that came from?
no. The Twitter account with Peter was way after all that. There was
But is that like where you got the idea?
Yeah, a goat named Peter was a shared idea between him and I.
That's sick. Wow. So you were kind of just like his almost. Yeah, explain it a little more. I don't know.
Yeah, so like we were really good friends, just tooling around, whatever. I mean, two guys from New England, we had bumped into each other at certain things around here, and we had just gotten to know each other pretty well. We were actually going to do it. We reconnected and really became close friends earlier that year at TPC Boston. I put out a video calling him out. I was saying, "Oh, Bob, come meet me at the members tent at TPC Boston," and he came. Came and hung out for a little while. We were shooting the shit, and he and Brooks Koepka were really close. So we were following around Brooks, and I don't know if you remember Brooks having all those people wearing cupcake T-shirts. I don't know if you guys ever saw that.
Yeah.
That we were kind of involved with all of that. It was like Brooks's Army or whatever they call it. I don't remember. That was just a great time. We got sloshed at that thing.
That's crazy.
So go ahead.
So I kind of want to ask you about. So you're a pro right now? Like you're still a PGA professional, correct?
Still involved in professional golf. That is correct.
That's good. So when did you start professional golf?
I turned professional right after I graduated college, which was 2014.
Wow. And so you obviously played in a Pro-Am at what was the name of the tournament when you played it? Was it the Deutsche Bank or was it the Del Tech?
Yeah, it was Deutsche Bank, and really interesting fact. And I didn't know this. Like that was like my second year being a member down there. Like I kind of made my my intentions clear that I wanted to take my golf game to the next level, and a golf pro that I was working with and mentoring under here in New Hampshire said I really needed to take my game to the next level, and just he couldn't get me there. So went down to TPC. They had everything possible to get me to that next level, from whether or not wanting to go on the touring side or go on the PGA Professional side. So I got to learn both sides of it, if you will. Won a few events there, and all of a sudden this one day I'm sitting down, I'm having lunch. I used to get there at 6 a.m. every day.
Wow.
I drove an hour and a half every day, 6 a.m., and I wouldn't leave until it was pitch black. Like they would have to tell me to leave.
That's dedication. I mean, that's kind of that's pretty awesome, because I know we can we see that that's kind of what it takes to play professionally. I mean, it takes that work, not just with the God-given talent, but so when you played in the Pro-Am at the Deutsche Bank, you played with Cameron Tringali, correct?
Yeah. So how that all happened. So as I was saying, I was having lunch one day, and in comes the general manager, the head pro, someone from the PGA Tour, and then the tournament director came in, and the GM says, "Hey, do you mind if we sit down with you real quick?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, what did I do?" All right, like, I mean, listen, I just pretty much just graduated college. Like, I don't know what the fuck they want out of me. I mean, listen, I mean, I was just trying to see where my golf game was going to go or whatever. And they said, "Hey, we have one more spot that we'd like to open up in the Pro-Am, and we'd like you to be the first ever member from TPC Boston to represent the entire club to go play in it."
Wow.
I was like, "Are you shitting me?"
That's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I mean, you've told me about that a lot, and you said that you and Cam have even became pretty good friends after that, right?
Yeah, we have. I mean, we talk a couple times a month. Listen, I mean, I know he's extremely busy and he's focusing on taking his game to another level, but I'll tell you the conversation that he and I had throughout the round was quite inspiring to me, just to understand how hard it was. And the funny thing is, I actually beat him by 2 strokes, and we started going shot for shot. We started on the back. We started on the back 9, and I started realizing like I was playing like stroke for stroke with him, probably right around like hole 16, Bob. I mean, I know you've played TPC Boston, that par 3, and at about hole 15, I had started playing tips with him because they allowed me to play tips since I knew the course first. And that 16th tee, wind was in our face. It was playing all the way those back tees, like all the way back. It was a bitch of a shot. I think I think I took 6-iron there, and I stuck the shot to within like a couple of inches. Like it hit the flag stick. I thought it went in, and at that point I knew I was like, okay, something special is happening. 17th hole comes around. I take my drive over those rocks on the left-hand side. Cameron's laying in the middle of the fairway. Then he hits his second shot pretty close. I hit my shot. My shot was stuck in the rough, but I had about 15 feet, and where the pin was located. So that green has like a boulder that's built in the middle of this green, and they had the pin probably like 2 or 3 paces to the right of that. So it was like, it was really tucked. It was a really shitty pin location. So I just hit this putt and it goes in, and I was like, okay, I think I have this. And more people started coming around. Like I started noticing more people from the club, and our PGA professional that was scoring the group was like, you're beating your pro right now by like 5 strokes. Like, thanks for telling me that. Didn't need to know that right now.
That's absurd. I know that's definitely probably the coolest story I've heard of you about how, I mean, when does that ever happen where the person playing in the Pro-Am beats the pro?
It did come down to the 18th, our 18th hole, the 9th hole, though. I mean, he started coming back a little bit, and once that guy told me I was 5 strokes up, I started tensing up a little bit. I mean, who wouldn't at that point? But the 9th hole, I hit a 4-iron off the tee. It just crawls into the first cut. Cameron took driver off the tee and just launched this ball. So I was like, oh shit, I have to find a way to get there. And like that 9th hole, you can't really see the green because they have that bunker in front of it.
Yeah.
So I hit this shot, and where the pin was right in the front portion of that green. That's what I was playing for. I was playing like a little like punch shot, if you will. Unfortunately, got caught in like the grassy area of the bunker. And my caddy that I had, who was one of the lead caddies at TPC Boston, I worked with him a lot. He hands me my 56 degree, and he says, "You know exactly what to do with this. Look at the hole, look at my shot, and ball goes in." And Cameron Tringali just looks at me. He's like, "Son of a bitch." and he ended up missing his 5-footer, and that's how I ended up beating him by 2. But ever since then we became great friends, and I'll never forget. Just after that, there was a couple little kids that like wanted an autograph or that sort of thing, and he didn't have any extra gloves. He came in a little late, and I said, "Here, just take my glove," and he signed the glove for the kid and gave it to him. I thought that was kind of cool that I could help out that way. And
yeah,
I don't know.
He should ask for your autograph. You're the one who beat him.
You know what the thing is? I had like 7 people ask me for my autograph that day, and I'm like,
that's ridiculous.
I'm not even playing at a tournament.
They must have thought you were the pro by the way you're playing.
I gotta tell you, we were paired with this one guy. I don't remember his. All he would tell us was his name was Z, and he was deeply connected with Tiger Woods somehow. And he always played in Tiger's poker tournament. He was some oil tycoon or something like that. This guy said he had played golf before. Trust me, he didn't play golf. This guy's just sitting there. He's like, fuck this shit. Like, fucking great guy. All right, sorry for my language, but no, seriously, this guy's name was Big Z. Never forget this guy. Super, super crazy guy, but fun to be around. Couldn't really understand him most of the round, but solid guy.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. I mean, yeah, obviously I know we usually keep this PG, but I was kind of thinking before we started that you don't really get a true Sean Van Angel interview without a little bit of expletive. So I'm sure we'll do a warning at the beginning of the episode to kind of let that happen, because I know you're a man of no boundaries, which is kind of what makes you pretty awesome. That's how I've got to know you, and that's what makes you kind of funny.
As I speak my mind, and I mean, listen, I mean, I think it really goes to like the audience in a way, and I'm trying to respect you guys as much as possible. But like, I mean, like if this was politics or something like that, obviously it's going to be a little more trimmed out the way. But I mean, here's the thing. I think you're always going to get the best out of someone when they can just speak freely and not have to worry about things.
No, I agree with that, and I know you're definitely that way. So, no, I think going back to TPC Boston what did you shoot that day when you?
68.
Wow, and what's your low?
There?
Yeah.
64.
That is ridiculous.
7 times.
Jeez. No, yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I've dealt with quite a few injuries, and
you've told me
unfortunately, my latest injury put on more weight than I would have liked to. I mean, I was never really a skinny guy to begin with, but it's unfortunately something I just working on dealing with, and it almost took me out of the game of golf. I am actually lucky to even be walking, period. But it took 2 years to really get my golf game back, and got it to a point where I could compete again. And there was a lesser known circuit in Florida. Some of the local pros kind of put it together, what wasn't anything major. It was like, I realize I probably can't get to the PGA Tour because of my injury and that sort of thing. But, I've been a big ambassador in supporting the game and trying to teach kids, to get into the game or try to get their games to the next level. And it's something I really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I have a few questions, but do you guys have anything you want to ask? I know you guys don't really know him as well as I do, but
I don't. But just like the whole Cameron Tringali thing, that's pretty cool, because like I know that was a few years back, but Cameron Tringali is playing some really good golf right now. I mean,
yeah,
I was just looking; he's 54th in the world. I mean, he's been kicking some butt lately.
Yeah, when I play, I keep giving him shit every now and then, because like when I played him, he was like 38th in the world at the time, I believe. He was either 38th or 40th in the world. Well, I don't exactly remember. He was right around those numbers. And I'm like, hey, come on, man. You're almost there. You're almost there. I was like, we're going to have to play again. And then, no, like, I sent him a message, and I was asked not to give the answer, but I told him, I was like, hey, if you win, when you win your first event, you and I are playing a match together, just as friends. And I can't tell you what he said, and I gotta respect that. But because I don't want to put him in any situation. I know he gets busy, but I really hope he does. He's a hard worker, and he's a great family guy, and I know he's made some mistakes out on the tour, but I mean, unfortunately those things happen, and he's one of the good guys on tour, to be honest with you. I mean,
No,
just a family guy.
Just from hearing your stories about him, it kind of made me a fan in my own right. I'm always rooting for him, except Valero. Valero, he was up there, and Jordan was up there too. We kind of had to root against him, but
that's understandable.
But yeah, so let's see. So Tiger Woods. Let's start with. So you own a cigar company, correct? Or own or work with, or
I work with kind of a silent partner.
Okay, and you were able to. What's the whole deal? Because I know you were able to get a connection with him.
Yeah. So my whole connection with Tiger and his organization started at TPC Boston. My family had always given to his charity and that sort of thing, and I'm given quite generously. But I didn't really get to know him until when they were doing the pairing party for the Deutsche Bank Pro-Am. I really started to get to know his group more and more, and made a lot of contacts, networked throughout the week with some of his guys that were on site, and ever since we became a great friendship. And I've got to hang out with Tiger quite a bit. I say that very humbly. I mean, I know a lot of people have their opinions on Tiger, and I certainly have my own, because I've actually sat down and talked with the man, and regardless of what anyone says, I can tell you the guy has a heart of gold, and it's almost, I tell people like this, it's almost like the first time ever meeting him, it was like almost like meeting the president of the United States in the Oval Office in a way. It's like that serious. Like you get your throat gets all closed up and dry, and everything. I mean, the amount of power that man holds within his own right, without, it is incredible. Well, but I'll never forget the things that he did for when my mother was battling cancer, and his group was always checking in and to see if there was anything they could do, and she beat cancer, which was a great thing. But the guy is really, really loyal to the people that are fortunate enough to call him friends or acquaintances, and it's always good to kind of hear what he has to say.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome to hear the news about your mom as well. When you met Tiger for the first time, was that like the most like starstruck / kind of nervous you've ever been meeting somebody, or did he make it pretty easy to like meet just Tiger the guy?
So I'll tell you this. I met Tiger for the first time 2 times. First time I really met him was at the Deutsche Bank pairing party, that sort of thing, and he was just coming off one of his initial back injury in 2014, or leg injury, whatever it was. And so that time I really just got to shake his hand, whatever. But the real first time I got an opportunity to meet him was actually at his restaurant, and he was just there in gym shorts and whatever, going over plans, whatever. Sat down. We shared a couple of soft drinks or whatever, and my mother was there as well. She was visiting me in Florida, and had a really, really great conversation. And then from there, I'd already had a strong connection with his organization, and from there it just grew. It just built on from there.
That's pretty cool. So you know Tiger personally. He's coming off his leg injury now. What do you think about the whole like comeback story? Do you think he'll be back playing golf?
Well, first, like I wouldn't say like I'm an expert on this. Like, I've met him a few times. I've been around his group. I don't want like anyone to get the perception of like I know him, like know to Big A or any of those. I know him and his group well enough where I think I honestly think he's trying to come back, but at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me to see him hang it up. Personally, I'd like to see him come back. I think that's the goal, but you know, I mean, something like that, it's really, really tough. And I don't really know how everything all happened with that whole accident. I know it's sad, and I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, maybe it was depression or something. I don't know. Oh, as someone that has dealt with depression and you know that, and someone that's worked within mental health issues, I mean, I got a lot of sympathy for the guy. Not really sure what he was going through, and I know it's not really any of my business, but I'm just glad he's alive and there for his kids.
That's well said. I know we are doing a Tiger Pod talking about his comeback, and this will actually be out after it, so I can give my opinions. I do think he's going to come back. I don't think he'll win again, but I do think he's going to try, because I think he's already put the mindset of trying, and I think when you're Tiger Woods, there's not many things that stop him. I feel like if he was going to hang it up, I feel like we would have heard about it. I feel like there was a real possibility that he would have hung it up for like just to spend time with his kids instead of spending all the time trying to get back. But I think he's going to make an effort to come back and at least play a few tournaments a year, like the majors and the Masters and stuff like that. But yeah, again,
the only reason why I say that I can see him hanging it up is, you know, I do think he wants to come back, but I think the only way he comes back is he'll come back if he thinks he can win. And I think that, and I really think that's going to be the question. I mean, do I think he can? I mean, if there's anyone in the world that can do it, it's him, and I'm certainly not doubting it. But I think that's going to be the real question with how much the game is changing and that sort of thing. I mean, do I think he could get it done? Personally, yes. I think he probably believes he can get it done. I don't think he'd be going through all of what he's going through to try to get better. But I mean, I would hope we would hear something relatively soon. Just when, not sure. We're probably gonna have to wait until his tournament in the Bahamas to hear anything. But
yeah, I think everybody's rooting for a Tiger comeback story of some point, and hoping that he's, you know, okay both mentally and physically. And I know we started the pod talking about the Honda, and you mentioned one of Tiger's good friends, Justin Thomas, was involved in that. We didn't. I don't think we really wrapped up that story. So
yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Finishing that, because it seems like a good one that you've got to tell.
This one's great. So Bob Menery and I got paired with Jason Duffner. Okay, let me tell you, we had a great freaking time. So we had Casamigos sponsor us. Probably a bad idea. So Bob texts me like at 6 a.m. He's like, dude, we need to get to the liquor store and get like a huge batch of Casamigos. The Casamigos guys are showing up late, this and that. So, well, like, the liquor stores in Florida didn't open until like 9 o'clock. I'm sitting there at fucking 8:30 in the morning like a freaking degenerate, waiting for the liquor store to open. Go grab 2 bottles of Casamigos. We just start shooting shots on the range and that sort of thing. and so we had our own like little entourage, that sort of thing. And so one of our other buddies comes onto the course with a massive bottle of Casamigos, and we just start drinking it, right? So then we run into Justin Thomas, and Bob grabs a bottle of Casamigos. He goes up to JT. He's like, hey, JT, you want to do some shots? And there's all these kids all around that sort of thing. So JT rips a shot, and the PGA Tour rep comes up and is like, Bob, you really need to take it easy. And like, there's kids and that sort of thing. And freaking hilarious. I mean, we got bombed.
That sounds so much like Bob Menery. Like that's something that Bob Menery would do.
It was ridiculous. I mean, I don't honestly remember much from after the round of golf. Unfortunately, like I was supposed to play with him, but unfortunately, I had just come off. For you, I know Bob knows, but for your other guys that don't, prior to that event, I was unfortunately shoved down a flight of stairs by members of my own family, and I had multiple tears in my back and that sort of thing. So one of the skits that we did on the course, like Bob was talking about how I was doing well in like mini tour golf and that sort of thing, and I had met Jason Duffner a few times prior to this, but I wouldn't say we were like friends or anything. And so we get up to the 17th hole in the bear trap there, and Bob's like, dude, hit a shot, it'll be freaking hilarious. I was like, dude, I'm just coming off this back, I still have this back injury, I can't hit a club to save my life. He says, it's fine, we're just gonna play it like that. I couldn't. So the freaking club went further than the ball. Jason Duffner's losing it, right? So then partly through the round, on like, how Jason Duffner like always walks around with like his club behind him, that sort of thing, and he just drags it.
I've seen that, yeah.
So Bob's like, dude, just step on his club. Bob like gave Duffner like a grand. Like Duffner didn't give a shit. Okay, he really did. And like his caddy, I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should tell this story. His caddy said, "Nah, screw it. I'm going to tell it." This is
you got to tell it. You got to tell it.
So after the round, like his caddy's talking to me and Bob. He's like, "Hey guys, if you guys really want to have a party, come out tonight in the practice green around 10 o'clock. All the caddies get together." He said, "We bring our bags on." "Why the fuck do you bring bags?" He said, "No, not that bag. We bring out the pill bags. You know how hard it is to get through this week?" He said, "The PGA Tour can't wait for me to write my book." I was like, Jesus Christ, these guys just get lit the entire time. I'm like, oh, his caddy was great. I don't even know if he's a caddy anymore. Probably not after that. But
that's crazy. I didn't even know that. Like, I've never really even thought about what goes on during. I mean, obviously, a golfer's week is very structured and like. Obviously, you got to be in bed at a certain time, but I mean, caddies. They can
Dustin Johnson. I mean, unless you're Dustin Johnson, who Dustin Johnson goes out with Ernie Els and says, "I'm going to give you a free sniffer bomb or a free Ripper Magooski or whatever." Or the guy manages to have a bachelor party each week. How he does it, I don't know, but congrats to him.
No, it's man, you have nonstop stories to tell, and it's crazy. What was the one other one I wanted to ask you about? I don't know. I'm blanking. Do any of you guys have anything while I'm trying to think of this?
It's been. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. I actually have a hot take that I want to leave with this podcast, and I actually like to hear your guys' opinion once I drop it. But I got a very hot take. It's probably unpopular, but it's something I'm very, very much in favor of.
Let's hear it then.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah.
LPGA Tour.
Okay.
Really?
PGA Tour. I think the money should be equal.
Really?
I really do, and here's why I say that. Me as a golf professional, I like to see what's coming up in the game of golf. And, on the women's side, there's phenomenal talent coming up. I mean, you look at what Alexa Pano is doing. She just finished top 10 in Q School, stage 2 of Q School at 16 years old. That's quite incredible. Paris Helinsky, another great golfer. She just started learning the game of golf at 15, and she's pretty much a professional now. Don't know if she's actually turned pro yet. I have had a few opportunities to speak with her on this issue. And you know, for me, like, golf should be treated like tennis. Like tennis, you know, the men's tour and the women's tour, they get paid the same. And you know, people can say what they want about the women's tour, but they work just as hard as the guys on tour. And I really think it would help U.S. women's golf as much as it's coming along, especially with the Corda sisters playing the way they are.
For sure.
You know, and I think Nellie's going to keep this going for a long time. But I mean, it's kind of a shame to me that we're at this point in age, we're in this day and age where, you know, they don't get the same coverage, and I really think they should.
I mean, at this point, every single golf shot professionally should be shown somewhere. I mean, like,
right.
I mean, the fact that they can't even stream it. Like, I'll say this about women's golf. I think that you're right about the fact that it's in the right direction. I mean, in order for the equal pay to be there, you need that star power. And I think they've got it coming up. They've got the Corda sisters. They've got Alexa Pano coming up, who is like a stud. And obviously Paris as well. But they didn't really have that star before. And I feel like that kind of, not to mention the women's game is a lot more international. So it's not as big in the United States.
It is. And I think that's a big problem. I shouldn't say that's a big problem because I'm a big advocate for growing the game, but I think a lot more needs to be done growing.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is the money comes from the United States. Essentially, it's an American tour. You need to be big here if it's going to make money. And you're right about that. No, there's no doubt.
And I mean, I love Lexi Thompson and everything she's done for the game. And, you know, I still consider her a superstar, but I mean, I would, and this is not a criticism on her by any means. I think she's great. It would be great to kind of see her as like the veteran of the group, if you will, kind of take that torch and say, we got to go make this ours. The time is now.
Yeah.
The Solheim Cup was a start. That was
the Solheim Cup was awesome.
Entertaining.
And I'll say, to kind of expand on your point, is that like stars only become superstars that grow the sport if they get the necessary media coverage to do so. And I think there is an unfair, or maybe not like equitable distribution of media coverage among golf, especially in the women's game, where in comparison to the men's game, where every, you know, highlights are posted all over the place. You see these guys on TV week in, week out, and then sometimes the women's game just gets pushed to the side in terms of coverage sometimes. And if they had the same opportunity to showcase their skills and their personalities that the men do, I think the game would be in a very similar place as the men's game, because they are really freaking good at the game of golf, and it's a lot of fun to watch them play for sure.
Right. I mean, I also think our golf media could do a lot better. I mean, there's obviously a ton of money in there with them, and you know, I'm sort of surprised they haven't gone like an ESPN route where they have multiple channels or offer like, I know you have your PGA Tour Live or that sort of thing, but you know, like you can go on ESPN and, you know, you can watch multiple games. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm surprised they haven't, you know, kind of expanded into a network like that with how this game is going. Like, you know, I think that would shine light on, you know, amateur golf coming into the professional ranks and so on.
Yeah, we've talked about coverage on this podcast before.
A lot.
And there seems to be high demand among golf fans, and they don't seem to be quite living up to it because of the contracts, whatever those exactly mean. But hopefully we get to a place soon where everything's progressing the way it really ought to be, because there's a lot of really great golf that's being played at a bunch of different levels that just isn't getting showcased in the way that it probably should be.
Yeah, for sure. The last 365 days, I know I'm not alone. I've watched more female women's golf in the last 365 days than I ever have
Absolutely.
before. And I know I'm not the only one, and I know Nelly Corda is a large reason for that. Having an American who is as dominant as she is and as fun as she is to watch, it's awesome for the sport.
Absolutely.
It is. And I mean, like I know there was a big discussion about the Olympics this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you guys may have touched base on it as well, where the women's Olympic golf meant a cajillion times more than the men. Now,
Absolutely.
I do think in the future it is going to mean a lot to the men. With all honesty, the last couple of venues have been terrible.
I agree with that.
I mean, there is no other way to put it.
We got Riv coming up.
Yeah,
that'll be a good one.
Riv, and I think France will really start getting the ball rolling, especially with your European golf fans and your American golf fans, which is really what you're trying to bring in to an audience there. But I really think they got to make it mean something on the men's side. And I think they should make it mean a little something more on the women's side as well. How they go about doing it, maybe they turn it into like an alternate shot type thing or whatever. But I would certainly like to see it, like mean a little bit more. And I know it means a lot to the women, but and people can say what they want about the Olympics, but this is something that happens once in every 4 years. I mean, they gotta find a way to promote and do something to say, in my opinion, it replaces one or two of the WGCs. I don't know if it replaces a major yet. I really don't. And I know the argument's been out there that, it's worth the same as a major. I think it could get there. I think it could.
I think
it's one of those things, but not now.
I think if you find a way to make the field stronger.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the field's just too weak right now. I mean, if you find a way to do, you only have 76 players around there that qualify right now. Make the field 100 people and guarantee the top 20 and give the top 20 a spot, and then add the same.
That would give us a match play.
I'd love to see a match play for the Olympics.
Yeah, give us a 96 person match player, however you want, and just have them go at it.
You got 2 weeks.
What I would do is, you got the sport, you got swimming at the Olympics. There's like 30 different events. You could have a stroke play event, a match play event, a 4-ball event, an alt shot event, a mixed event. There's so many different, like I know they can only play so much because it's such a physically demanding sport, but just only play 36 holes each event and make it over like a 2-week period. That's what every other sport does.
Make the match play 9 holes a match.
Exactly. Yeah. People will watch. And if you only make it 9 holes, each hole is worth so much more. So it's it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, it would. Like, I think a mixed event would be great. Like,
they need that.
I mean, put it this way: imagine having Jordan Spieth and Nelly Corda for Team USA.
You'd carry us.
Who isn't watching that?
Yeah, we'd get carried by Nelly.
Watching.
I mean, if it was Justin Thomas, we're probably not watching. But just kidding, JT, just kidding. I'm doing that just to shit on the tracker, but I love his tracker. He's a great guy. But seriously, who wouldn't watch, like, again, Jordan Spieth or Nelly Corda, Jordan Spieth or Lexi Thompson? I honestly think we got to get Jordan Spieth in the Olympics. If the U.S. wants to take the Olympics seriously, we need our best of the best players. Screw the world ranking. The players should elect, but the players should be able to elect if they want to get into it. Great, Hey, if not, okay.
Hey, that's an interesting where like someone actually elects them, like all captains fix. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think though people like the other argument to that would be that certain people have like earned it by having a good world ranking. But I think if you expand the field, then you don't really have.
I think if you just guarantee the top 25 in the world a spot in the Olympics, it makes the field perfect.
Yeah, the only thing
then you have the diversity as well.
The only thing about that though is like, at least right now, the top 25 of people that wouldn't qualify are just all Americans. So it would just be a lot of American golfers, and then like.
But I think that should be the prize for having a dominant team.
Not to mention, it's like that in every sport. I mean, Americans, for the most part, are the main representation in most sports.
And that simply doesn't mean that's the only advantage that they can be given, because.
But they'd have like an insane amount more people with a much better chance at winning the. Like if you have 25 Americans in an 100-person field, that seems, and like the rest of the world gets like 2 or 4 max.
I don't know. Like you shouldn't max anyone. I don't think.
Well, so then how do you do it then? Because they have the max.
Right, I think if you finish top 25 in the world at whatever deadline you put, you deserve a spot in the Olympics, no matter your country. Because I think if the United States is 16 people in the world golf rankings in the top 25, they deserve that. Like,
not our fault that we're so good.
And there's no advantage to the United States players. It's just that there's a better chance that one of us win. John Rahm is still the best player in the field if he had played, whether there's 16 or 25 Americans.
I guess my point is like in swimming, it's not like we have 8 people that race against 4. I know that's not like this. It's not like in track we have 20 people that race against 5. Like I don't know. I mean, I'm all for Team USA, right?
I honestly think one interesting format they could do is kind of modify how they do the NCAA championships.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I mean, you get maybe you guarantee the top 25, and I get it. Maybe most of those are Americans, but they're split into different USA teams. And, just like in collegiate golf.
That's a good way to do it.
One of those teams is going to move on to, the elimination rounds.
I wouldn't hate that. I think we could go on about this we might have to have you back, Sean, and just do an entire episode on Olympic golf. In 4 years, if this is still going.
Oh yeah, I'll be gambling like no tomorrow on that. Don't worry.
So let me ask you. Actually, you know what? I have one other thing I want to ask you, but let's start with that. So you gamble a lot. What would you say is? Do you gamble more on golf than you do other sports, or would you say no?
Here's the thing, so how I do my gambling myself and a few friends of mine, we got involved. We started this group during the whole COVID thing. And basically what we're doing, we were selling picks. Basically how we got the idea was, when you go to a horse racing track, you're buying the daily racing form and they have picks in there and that sort of thing. And there's a whole bunch of people doing this all over social media now. Vegas Dave is probably one of the most well-known. One of my good friends, if you guys ever want to check him out, Proven Winner. He's on Instagram and Twitter. His name's Scott. Really, really good guy. Probably one of the most informative sports bettors in the industry. But what we do, our group, we have a client list of about 500 clients and a little bit more. They pay. I probably get about 200. We probably get about 200 plus that pay $30 a day for picks. And really, how we decide on our picks, we look at what sports are out there for the day. Then we have weekend, and really we focus on college football's big. That's our big one. hockey's big, basketball, again, NFL, and golf. We're actually pretty good. Like, just give me a minute. I'll pull up what we did in golf most recently. So most recently in golf, we were last couple of events, and this was towards the end. This was including the Ryder Cup. I'm sorry, no, these numbers are from the Ryder Cup. And I think there was one more event in here. We were 116, 67, and 16. I think that may have been a 2-week spread.
It's impressive.
Yeah, I'm looking at numbers now. Oh yeah, it was a 2-week spread, but most of these bets, I'd say more than 60% of these bets were Ryder Cup bets. But I mean, listen, I mean, there's times we've gone cold. Like the last couple of days, I haven't been as hot, but you know, for me, I mean, we're always putting our own money on our bets and that sort of thing. It's to me, it's just something fun to do. Like it allows me to be more invested in a game or a player or, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's what I like so much about fantasy football, is that every NFL game matters to me in some way, shape, or form, because I have a defense or a kicker or a wide receiver that I need to score touchdowns and stuff like that. So I think that's what's cool about gambling, and it's awesome to see it really take off across the country, because I think like you said, it makes every like quarter game, it makes everything more interesting.
Now, what I would like to see on the PGA Tour side is let the guys bet, like live bet amongst themselves during an event. Screw it. You know, have you know, I'm just going to throw him out there. Have Rory McIlroy, because we all know he's got a shitload of money. And, you know, have Rory and, I don't know, I'm just going to use Xander Schauffele for one. Here, 200 grand closest to the pin, and then they just throw the money down. Like, I mean, they should just, like, come on, that's fan engagement. Let it happen. And, like, you know, the other day, you know, I saw this video. You know when JT cracked open the beer, or at the Ryder Cup, that sort of thing. Well, so someone posted a video with that with Stone Cold Steve Austin's background music, and one of my best friends is a retired WWE wrestler, and I was playing that for him. He's like, "Oh shit, where's Stone Cold? He's gonna hit him with the E Stunner." And I'm like, oh man, I would so love that. If there's a golfer in the world that I'd love to see get hit with an E Stunner, it's Justin Thomas.
God.
I love JT. I'm the type of one, you know, I'm an equal opportunity ball buster, okay? Just today, Justin Thomas is the flavor of the day. I mean, the flavor of the day tomorrow might be cotton candy. I mean, who the hell knows? I mean, it just, this shit just comes to my head and it just comes out, you know, just like other things, but we won't go there at this point.
Yeah, so the last thing I have is, what's your experience so as a fan, as a spectator? I'm sure you've been to many events. I know you've been to the Honda. What else have you been? You've been to obviously the TPC Boston tournaments. Have you been at any majors? Or
I've been to the Players Championship twice. I have not been to a major. I am probably going to the U.S. Open this year.
Yeah, probably. Jordan might too.
Yeah, he should be.
Oh no, I meant Jordan, the guy. I
might
mean,
be up there as well.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
It's fine.
I'm surprised we haven't got that more. Like when tweeting, when we say like Jordan, I'm surprised we haven't got like more people thinking that we were referring to Spieth. But oh well. So that's I'm surprised you haven't been to a major. Actually, I feel like
The players sound sick.
Yeah.
What's it like down there?
I will tell you, I was actually supposed to be, supposed to be with a couple people from Tiger's group when he won the Masters, but instead they asked me to hang out and kind of, do a promo thing at the restaurant because they were doing a whole party there, which I was happy to do. That was a lot of fun. I mean, I would have loved to be at Augusta. Don't get me wrong. But man, actually, if you don't mind, I'd love to tell you guys this story from that day because it's a pretty good one. So, at the time, like my parents now live in Florida and live close to Jupiter, and so my mom was in town, and and since I didn't go up to the Masters, I took her to the airport, that sort of thing, or her flight got delayed or whatever, and tournament's come to a close, and it's looking now at this point looking like Tiger's gonna win this thing, and so my mom's like, they're still waiting for a crew or whatever, and so I'm sitting there with like one of my close friends who does a lot of work with Tiger's crew, and a couple others. I'm like, Mom, I'm pretty sure your pilots are here getting hammered right now. There was 4 pilots in their freaking uniforms. Okay, I mean, Ken sloshed. I mean, by the time when he won, they just said champagne. They just said champagne on the house. Okay, and everyone was just going crazy. It's like, you ain't getting on that flight today.
That's
because they ain't flying.
That's the Tiger effect right there.
I mean, listen, they were flying something else, but they certainly were not flying. They certainly weren't flying a 737. But no, that was a fun moment. But I will say probably my favorite moment of playing any sort of professional golf, there's 2. The first time I won, so when I was heading into my senior year of college, and I really wanted to play college golf, and my college where I went didn't have a team, so during my winter breaks and stuff, I had to go out to like California. I went out to Hawaii a lot because they had a few events out there, and just try to get my game to another level. I really wanted to go play for Lynn University, they're one of the top Division II schools in the country, and I got in there and was accepted to play when I applied. Unfortunately, I dealt with my first injury, so I went back home for a year, and where I went to school, they lost my transfer files. Unfortunately, they lost my transfer files again heading into my senior year, so I didn't get to do that. But
it's ridiculous.
Anyway, so I go out to Ireland for 2 weeks, and it was like 2 days after my 21st birthday. Perfect timing to go out to Ireland, I guess. So there was a tournament being put on, and I got a little bit of flack from this because the company my dad worked with at the time was one of the main sponsors, and they gave me a sponsor's exemption. And at first I didn't want to take it. I felt like I was taking someone else's spot, that sort of thing. And, I got a little flack for it, but we played at a course called Old Head. And if you ever look up Old Head golf things, it's I would pay money to see the PGA Tour play there. Like I honestly would. I don't see how they would shoot. I don't see how they would shoot 5 under par. I honestly think 5 under par might win the tournament.
Well, you won a tournament at Wingfoot too, right?
I did. So and I'll talk about that one. But
geez, this course looks sick. It's like on an island.
It is. So the 18th hole, I'm tied with this guy who won like 5 Challenge Tour events. And it's right. This guy was heading to the European Tour, and the 18th hole there, it's kind of hard to tell by the picture, but where the tee box is, you're on the edge of a cliff, and and the wind was blowing probably 30, 40 miles an hour. And I see he hits his tee shot. He ends up in the right rough. There's nothing you could do with this wind. I decided to aim my ball I was probably aimed, God, I had to be over 100 yards, probably over 100 yards in the middle of the Irish Channel there. And was like, I just pray to God I don't snap this one bit, because I'm fucked if I do that.
That's crazy. No, I mean, that course looks sick.
I'll never forget. I sent the drive over, and like, I hit this on a button. Was okay. Was in the first cut. There was no way with the wind I could get to the green on my second shot. I mean, I was still probably like 190 out, but the wind blowing 40 miles an hour into my face. I was like, where my opponent was, I was like, if I just get it up close to the green and then 2-putt par, I'm fine. All right. So he hits his second shot and it goes way right again. And the 18th green is kind of protected by this grassy wall. And so I just hit my shot and ended up making par. And the trophy was actually a Waterford Crystal replica of the claret jug. I still have it in my possession. And
you're going to have to send us a picture of that.
It is something that never leaves my house, but yeah, I will certainly send a picture of that. And then,
we'll make that the thumbnail.
and Winged Foot, man, that was 2 times, but this last one, this last one was the bigger one. And the one from 2020, that was special because that one was set up more in team format than anything. The one this year was more individual and team, which I liked a lot more. But yeah, so this year was just crazy few days of golf there. We got perfect weather, and ended up breaking par at Wingfoot. I was quite impressed with that one. I honestly had no clue. I shot one under par both days, and ended up winning it individually. And then our group, or team, if you will, came in a tie for third, unfortunately. But kind of tough with our second best player, who I was hoping was going to play a lot better. He normally does. I mean, he typically plays off of like a 3 handicap. He just did not have a good 2 days whatsoever. Or I mean, I was giving him shit, and he's like a little brother to me. Really is. The kid's a D1 athlete at St. John's, and so we're playing, and he's stuck in a bunker. He's probably about 215 out, and he decides to pull like a 4 hybrid or something. I'm like, what in the fuck are you doing? Like, I was like, listen, you're not Jordan Spieth. You're not on the, I was like, listen, I don't even know if Tiger would pull this shot out of his ass. And I was like, I was like, just take your 9-iron, get it out in the middle of the fairway, and work on it like that. Because I mean, my tee shot on this particular hole was stuck behind a tree. And I was like, yeah, there's no chance I'm getting to the green here. And so he's like, no, I'm gonna get to the green. What does he do? Fucking chunks, freaking, I don't know if you want to call it chunks it, or does it? He just buries the ball deeper into the bunker. I'm like, motherfucker! Like, I was like, you do realize, like, we need an aggregate score amongst all of us for our team score to count, right? It's like, so I mean, he ended up getting like a 10 on that hole.
Oh,
It's like,
no.
oh, so like now I'm like, at this point, like I kind of knew, like individually, I kind of had it. So we were heading to this par 3, and he's like, "Oh, what do you think I should hit here?" And I'm like, "It's like, dude, did you really like? You can't ask me that question." And like that's like I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah, because it's not even allowed.
No. Oh, and I'm like, at the end I was like, no, I honestly can't do that. I honestly gave our group the right penalty for that. But I'm like, I looked at him. I was like, are you serious right now? Like, you just got a 10. You're asking me what you should be hitting on this hole. Well, it's like, dude, I mean, he's a very, very good golfer. He's not used to playing a lot of tournament golf.
Right,
so, I mean,
yeah.
I shouldn't be like, listen, I mean, when you play professional golf and that sort of thing, like, I was kind of in my zone that day. So, like, I was very, very focused on what was going on. And just, I'm like, man, between me focusing on what I was trying to do and also having fun with the team, I was busting his chops, but man, I mean, I'll never forget, he overcooks. I'm blanking on the hole, but it was one of the par 3s in the back 9. Spieth, when I say he overcooked this, like, he sent this so far past the green that I think it's still flying. We didn't find the ball. Well, so he hits another one, and he gets it on the green, and so
12th hole. 12th hole.
Right, 12th hole. So finally, kid gets it on the green, and the caddy that we had assigned for the group, and then I had my own personal caddy. My friend came out with me, that normally caddies with me for certain events, and same one from TPC Boston. So the team caddy, if you will, because Wingfoot provided that one, gives him the read for the putt, and I'm like, this was one of the few times like I kind of disagreed with their caddy. I was like, duh. He's telling him left to right. I'm like, no, that's gonna break twice. He's got like 30 feet for bogey right now, and he's like, just get it up there close, and go get double bogey and let's just walk off this godforsaken hole. Well, no, kid just hits it, rolls it off the green, and so he went 10-7, or whatever it was on that. I was like, I was gonna kill him at that point. Like, so there went the team score. But man, I'll tell you, just walking that course was incredible.
I bet.
But my favorite moment, I think you guys might enjoy this one, is this one actually involves Tiger Woods. So Tiger every year does a invitational event at Pebble Beach, and this particular year there was myself, and he had certain golfers personally invited out to compete in what they called the competition flight, if you will, or we called it the pro flight. And we got to play Spanish Bay? Yeah, Spanish Bay, Monterey Peninsula, which was my favorite. If you've never heard of Monterey Peninsula, it's like the Augusta National of San Francisco, or Pebble Beach, if you will. Out of all the courses on Pebble Beach, that course, like,
would you take that over Cypress?
Oh yeah.
Really? That's one I do not hear a lot. That's crazy.
I'll tell you, you have to play both. I can certainly see from a TV perspective why you would pick Cypress over
I was gonna say
Monterey. We did play Cypress. don't get me wrong. I think both of them are great, but I like the challenge of Monterey. Hey, like obviously the guys on the PGA Tour just rip it apart, but I mean when you look at the layout and what it gave us throughout the round, like I thrived well there. Like on harder courses, I always seem to do better. Why, I don't know, but I ended up taking the lead in that tournament at that point, and each day they were giving a little bit of an award, and I have a flag from there that was signed from Tiger, and I think I have a picture that I've posted a few times on my page. And that night we enjoyed a couple of cigars. I think that picture is actually on my main account, SV America.
Oh yeah, that's
me
your
smoking a
profile
cigar.
pic. Yeah.
But that event. So my mom and dad were actually celebrating. They were celebrating their 60th birthdays and their 35th wedding anniversary, and my mom was officially done beating cancer. And I had never won an event in front of my parents before, besides the one in Ireland, but I wasn't a professional at that point. And my dad and I were a team that week, and I'll never forget making the walk down 18 at Pebble, and I broke down in tears. I saw my mom coming down the 18th green with Tiger, and she was diagnosed with pretty much stage 4 cervical cancer, and
wow, to beat that's pretty impressive.
She went through a pretty tough fight, and I have to say, I mean it wouldn't have gotten that bad had her, some things had happened previously. A doctor misdiagnosed it years prior, but I mean we don't need to really get into that. But man, I'll tell you, to win the individual award in that one was really cool. But to hug my dad going down that fairway, and I had a chance for eagle on that hole. I did not make the eagle. I made the birdie though, but it was that was the most memorable. I don't think I could ever top that unless I somehow get better, or I honestly think if I'm working another job right now. I mean, had I not taken this and took another year to get back, I probably would have gotten to a level where I probably could have competed again, or gotten close to go to Q school or at a PGA Tour level. Well, but I mean, I've also come to the realization that's probably not going to happen, which I'm okay with. I mean,
you seem to be living a pretty content life, anyways. You seem to.
I mean, I'm pretty happy that I got not. I mean, I'll never lose the title of professional golf. I mean, it's like a baseball player that reaches like double or triple A. I mean, gave it my 100%. Shot. I got my taste of it. If it happens, if I get to another level, that's great. But you know what? For me, it's important to see the game grow, and I'm a huge advocate for the women's game, and I want to see them grow as much as possible. Well, and I want to see a lot of younger people get into this game. It's a game that certainly teaches a lot of life lessons that I think are missing from today's society.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Sean, it has been a blast having you on here, man. I mean, it was nice to get a raw version of your stories, because I mean, you just have so many, and I'm sure we can make a 24-hour podcast episode with just your stories if we wanted to. But it's been a blast, man. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. And hey, I mean, if you guys want one more story before this, I'm happy to give it. You don't have to put it in there, but
well, you got it now. Okay.
Trying to think which one I want to go with.
Oh my God, he's got choices. Exactly. I mean, this guy could talk forever.
I have so many of them.
Thank you, man. It's been awesome. I mean, what you say just speaks for itself. I mean, we don't really have anything that lives up to what you've said. So, we'll end on that. So, yeah, it was a blast. I know we enjoyed having you. I knew it was basically what we expected, or at least what I expected knowing you. But I think the people are going to like this one. I think they're going to like, yeah.
And you know, man, just I know you guys are all with the Spieth world, and I'm a huge Jordan Spieth guy. I know sometimes I like to bust some chops, but no, I've met Jordan a couple of times, and I love the guy. I just want to say to your guys as fans is like, don't get on him too early. I mean, especially, he's about to have he's about to have a new kid. You know, Daddy Duty is going to come in, is going to become number one for a little bit, but give him some time. I mean, it's certainly a joyful time, but yet stressful with the level of golf that he would like to play, I'm sure. But I'm to all you guys as followers, you know, my recommendation is to just stay with him. You know, I think he's going to be back pretty quick, and
yeah,
you know. Here's another hot take. I think Jordan Spieth gets back to world number one by the end of the 2023 season.
Wow,
that's out there.
Between now, I
there's time for it.
Something is clicking with him.
That's 2 years, so that would mean over the next 2 years, Jordan Spieth is the best golfer in the world. That's essentially what that means.
I think he wins 2 more majors in that time at a minimum.
Wow, that's we like to hear that.
I think he wins 2 out of the. I think he wins 2 out of the 8 majors, and here's the other thing. I think his next major is going to come at Southern Hills this year. I think he's going to get the Grand Slam. I'll actually tell you right. I'll actually tell you right now. I'm putting $500 down on my bet at the Jordan Spieth wins the Grand Slam this year.
You heard it here first.
Heard it here first. That's a perfect place to end right there. Jordan Spieth, 2022 Southern Hills champion, Grand Slam, and whatever the odds are right now, Sean Van Anglen will win his money back. Because that's happening. So, yeah.
If Jordan wins Southern Hills, you're coming back on.
If Jordan wins the Southern Hills, you're coming back on. That's right. You're gonna have to tell us every last thing you did with whatever amount of money you won. So
I assume we'll be a few beverages deep if Jordan were to win. I'm
sure. Yeah.
I mean, I hope to be back on before then. But hey, guys, I hope nothing but this best for you guys. You guys put on a great show. I don't normally get on a whole lot of podcasts that often, but my work schedule is typically crazy. But yeah, I love to see I love to see fan engagement, and keep it up, guys.
Great.
It can be a real pain in the ass sometimes, but keep the grind going.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
It means a lot. Yeah.
Oh, and hey, don't forget to get zipped. All right. Or zapped. Shit, I'm already forgetting it. Get zapped. That's all you got to do.
All right.
Bob Menery wanted me to say that. I just wanted to say. He wanted me to pass that message.
Well, hey, that means Bob Menery knows who we are. So that's good enough for me.
I told Bob I was doing this. I got to get Bob to get on this show. Bob and I have got to do this show.
If you could make that happen, that would be if you could get Bob Menery on here,
that would be insane.
We'd be forever in your debt.
I'm going to talk to him relatively soon. See when the next time he's going to be in Boston.
That would be incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, man.
All right. You guys have a good one.
You too.
Take care.
See ya.